What is up, everybody? It's your boy Vertic here, and thank you so much for stopping by. Hold on, let me just move a little bit. I'm way up in your face. How are you doing, guys? Nice to see you back. I've been taking a little bit of break. I've been working very hard on those lore videos, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. A piece of conversation. I always like doing these. My way of connecting with you in a sense, where we just make a video when we talk about a couple of things. And honestly, I can't wait for that one smart ass who's going to come into the comments and say, just answer based on the premise of the video, yes it is. And of course that answer is tied to the question, is BDO lore bad? Let's have a little bit of a chat. See, Black Desert's lore, a lot of people don't understand what it is, a lot of people don't understand how to approach it, a lot of people don't understand whether or not it's even there, a lot of people just simply have a very false perception, which kind of starts from a lot of other content creators, whether or not BDO's lore is a thing or if it's even worth to engage in. Let's just say it as such, BDO has incredible amounts of depth in its lore, and well, people who have engaged with it very well know about it. And unfortunately, there's tons of other creators out there that are simply slandering it and simply saying that it's bad, or simply saying that it's not there, or pretty much as Blue Squadron said once, it's written with crayons. Some other content creators who simply say it's bad, etc., etc. Let's talk today something about how to even approach the lore, and most importantly, explaining to you its nature. See, Black Desert's lore is one of the last surviving, you could say, bits of the Sandbox environment, which used to be Black Desert. When I say that BDO lore is a part of the particular Sandbox environment, it truly is. Black Desert is written in a very interesting way, similar to any exceptionally high top games. Best examples being, of course, From Software and the way they've built the Soulsborne series, which I myself am a huge fan of. To fully understand BDO lore, you have to understand that both of these games, both of these genres, the RPG genres, you either have a straightforward story without too much going on around it. It's pretty much something to introduce you to the world, and then eventually the developers start picking it up, or you have an entire sandbox experience where bits of lore are being told from different places, different perspectives, and we have to really kind of emphasize onto the different perspectives, and usually there is a mediator in this entire thing. So BDO's lore is, as I said, a sandbox thing. What I'm trying to say is that you're going to get a basic story, and from the basic story you're going to get the knowledge pieces. Now, the knowledge pieces in particular are ones which provide context to much of the things which are being told into the story, but most importantly, that context is not necessarily 100% true. Or in other words, if you want to think that, well, just reading the knowledge makes you learn Black Desert Online lore, trust me, from personal experience and many great deal of errors, that is absolutely not true. So does BDO have depth and complexity? Yes, BDO has depth and complexity that is simply outstanding. And at first I didn't believe it as well, but whenever you try to tackle the most profound questions of the lore, similar to what I recently did, and that is whatever happened with Sylvia, the goddess of the elves. Go check that video. It's completely fully edited with some crazy stuff inside. I think you guys are going to love it. This is the depth and complexity of going through one of the most important questions of the game, and it takes a long time to research. What I'm trying to build today for you is to kind of try to get you into the lore. Not necessarily for you to check my videos in particularly, but more or less just to tell you that the lore is here, and I have been doing BDO lore videos for quite some time now, and to be completely fair with you, every time I upload a video for lore, it's just nothing but absolutely crazy positive response. See, this leads me to a couple of other situations and experiences which I've had with other creators, and I just want to kind of give a couple of shout outs, I guess. On the BDO 9th year anniversary, basically I think it was last year, me, Zethian Choice, I think Rayra was there, Laz, and Byrog. I don't think I'm missing anybody else from that group. We were going to go through the quiz. If you know, if you watched it, I pretty much nailed the quiz. Just got one of the answers wrong because I'm just an idiot often enough. But nonetheless, in the lobby, we had a little bit of conversation, and I spoke with Choice about BDO lore, and I started explaining to him pretty much the Zarka lore and telling him that he is the god of hope. And he was just a little bit shook into this and was like, how does that even work? And basically what I'm trying to say is that often enough things that we take at face value seeming boring, when you add a little bit of context to it, kind of gets a fire going under you. And it's like, oh, well, I really want to know right now. So you can go ahead and ask him. I know for a fact that Zethian, who was also into that group, became a lot more knowledgeable BDO lore just because of how many questions were asked onto the premise of Sage. Fact of the matter is, he knows more about his character now than prior to this, and I really think that's very cool. See, what I'm trying to say is that I see the passion in BDO's community, especially nowadays, considering how divided and obsessed over constructive criticism for the game we are pretty much tangled in. I can say that BDO lore is a great thing to explore currently, and most importantly, it has a great amount of depth. And to be fair with you, I'm a big reader, and let me just pull something over here. If you were to tell me right now, what would I prefer to read, this, The Fall of Gondolin, or get into BDO lore? Man, personally, I have a lot more fun just reading the implications of the lore. Talking about implications, I guess we have to talk really in a little bit more depth into what does that even mean. As I told you earlier, BDO lore is created in a sandbox way where different pieces not necessarily fit with one another. People kind of attribute this to Pearl Abyss not knowing what they're doing and that they're just a horrid company, which depending on, you know, your track record might be true. But fact of the matter is that those pieces are meant to not pretty much land and fall together, because a faction is going to tell you one bit of story, another faction is going to tell you another bit of story. Think of it, the Gunnell and the Vidir elves, for an example, and you're going to have a mediator in between. It could be a character, it could be a past story, it could be something not even related to their region, not specifically for Gunnell and Vidir. You just get the idea. There's always something to bring the truth of one into a general stream of, okay, we figure out what's going to happen. And BDO's lore kind of makes you look like a Sherlock Holmes, in general a detective in that sort. Now, there are a couple of things. I have this book over here, and excuse the Cyrillic, it's called Malazan Book of the Fallen in English. It's one of the most complicated pieces of... Oh my god, it's a fantasy of a fantasy. See, fact of the matter is, this book is so unbelievably complex, and this is just first out of, I think, 6? Or were they? I don't know how many. Actually, there's plenty of them. And a very important bit of this to understand is one of the highest ranked reviews ever, and unfortunately got taken down after some time, but some person said one time that Malazan Book of the Fallen makes Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings looks like 3 gangs of gypsies fighting over a copper wire. And that's like that's a crazy thing to say. That's a hot take of a hot take. But see, fact of the matter is, the consensus is there, and that is, it is true. Not to say that, of course, Tolkien is not a freaking genius of geniuses. Of course, he pivoted everything that we have right now. There are plenty of other little books of fantasies out here that pretty much start entire journeys, such as, you know, book 3, or I think it was book 2 of the Horus Heresy False God. Maybe it was book 2, I don't recall precisely. It's been a while. But see, fact of the matter is, BDO has all of that, all of those books, all of those complexities these books have into its lore, all of those things that you have to decipher in order for it to make a lot of sense to you. So to answer the question, is BDO lore good? It's simply outstanding. It just needs something in particular, and that is more context added to those particular quests, to those particular knowledge, to those particular characters, so that we have very big answers. See, many times I constantly refer to the Tolkien Silmarillion. And some time ago, that's a little bit dusty, some time ago, you know, Tolkien Silmarillion is pretty much the Bible of Tolkien himself. And it's a very important book because the Silmarillion is essentially what created the context and the depth of what Tolkien universe really became. I'm pretty confident when I say this. If the Silmarillion was not delivered to the universe of Tolkien, then the Lord of the Rings and the impact that would have onto the culture would not have been at all as deep without having the book of origination of that entire mythos, you could say it as such. So the fact of the matter is, BDO lore is great, it's complex, and I really want to usher you guys in it. So far, the response out of the videos which I've been making on BDO lore has been nothing but positive. We're talking out of one out of 100 people might have a little bit of an edgy thing to say, and 1 out of 1,000 might have some negative things to say. Fact of the matter is, it's amazing. I hope you guys try it, and yeah, I love you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.